it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am back with a Wacky Wednesday from SpiegelMomScraps. And this month we are doing a sketch challenge. So we are using one of Sarah's sketches, which you see right here in the photo. And I'm going to go ahead and be working on a fall layout. So in the sketch, there's a pattern paper that goes off on the right-hand side, and then there is, in the photo at least, there's an element where there's a bunch of lined up butterflies. And rather than having that, I'm going to use this pattern paper from Chamel's Go Now Go. And my rows are going to be off so that they're staggered, and I'm okay with that. So it's a little bit different than the sketch, but it's the same basic idea. And here you see I am inking all of my edges, and this is just with a slate gray ink pad from Studio Calico. And I'm using that gray to kind of be able to bring some continuity to my entire layout. That diagonal stripe paper that I'm using is actually from Photoplay's Falling Leaves collection, and it's called Autumn Stripe. But the colors in it worked perfectly, and I'm going to use a couple other elements from this as well. And then I actually pulled out some colored cardstock, which I hardly ever use. But I'm using it to create just some very thin mats around this middle border strip. And then I'm also putting my slate gray ink on that. And then with the green, I'm going to go ahead and tear an edge on the top and on the bottom because I am going to have a little bit of this torn paper element throughout the entire layout. So I tore the diagonal stripe paper, and then I also tore that green paper that I'm using on that center element. So I'm just kind of lining things up, seeing where they are going to go, and then I grabbed a bunch of the 6x6 papers from the paper pad, and these are from Chamel's Go Now Go collection. And I'm going to create those mats that you saw in the sketch behind my photo. So I've just pulled out some colors that work with my photo and that also work with the feel of this layout. And so I have 3 different patterns that I am just mounting behind my photo. And then I'm going to end up deciding to tear the bottom edge of the brown one. It's just like a wood grain paper. And so I tear the bottom edge of that one. But then my photo mat is just about the same size as my strip through the middle. So I am going to go back and take that bright orange cardstock and add another mat to my photo here in a minute. So there you see I've grabbed these 2 large leaves from the Maggie Holmes Gather collection, and those are going to be my kind of embellishment elements. And then I'm also going to use some of those 4-inch Normandy doilies from the SpiegelMomScraps store to kind of match what's going on in the sketch. So I tried to follow the sketch pretty closely for this week. And I put a photo in the beginning if you want to go back and reference it, if you want to check it out on the blog so that you can also participate in this sketch challenge this time. And so here I'm just trying one of these border strips and decided that's not the direction I want to go. And then I took my doilies and colored them. And I used ink rather than using spray, because I wanted some color variation and I didn't want to cover up all the white in the doilies. And so the 2 inks that I chose to use were Spiced Marmalade and Fossiled Amber, and both of those are from Tim Holtz. And so that creates some dimension on those doilies, but it does still have some of that white showing through. So I didn't want it to be totally solid. I wanted it to kind of look marbled and distressed. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of fun foam and mount my photo cluster on top of that. And you see I've added that orange cardstock border to make it just a bit bigger. And then I do put it on that fun foam to make it stand out a little bit. And then I'm going to take these 3 leaves that I fussy cut out of that paper from Chamel and put them on some pop dots. And I'm going to spend quite a bit of time trying to decide which ones I want to be popped up in 3D and which ones I don't. And I end up choosing the 3 leaves that overlap my photo. And those 3 are going to be on pop dots, so they look like they're 3-dimensional leaves, which is a really neat element to add. And since I only used a border of that paper, then I could go ahead and add those pop dots, and I had some extra ones to fussy cut. So then I went ahead and started working on my title, which is going to go up here on the top based on where it is in the sketch. And these are the Meadow Thickers, and this was part of the Pink Paisley Outfitters collection that was released over the summer. And I love these letters, but I spend a huge amount of time on this layout trying to make sure that I have them all centered where I want them, over the photo, with my mats. This is like the one time that I don't use wax paper, and I totally messed it up. So I keep playing with them and playing with them and playing with them until I am finally happy with where they sit on top of that photo. And then I tried out these mini market alphabets from October Afternoon, and then I pulled out these ones that are sticky keys, also from October Afternoon, just to say at the. So the title up there on the top is going to be At the Patch. And like I said, those yellow stickers were from October Afternoon. And then I went back and added a white tag with some of that slate gray inking to that bottom corner, and I put another doily behind it. And that was not something that was in the sketch, but I felt like in this layout that I needed some balance down in that bottom corner because there's so much going on in the rest of the layout that I wanted that third embellishment cluster so that I had somewhere to put things. So I grabbed this pumpkin sticker, and this is from that Photoplay Falling Leaves collection. And then I pulled out my Simple Stories Hello Fall that has these great phrase stickers. And I am going to use some of those on top of that pumpkin. Those little wood buttons you see are from Imaginesque, which is by American Crafts. And those are an older product. I picked those up at either Tuesday Morning or Ross or somewhere like that, I think last fall on clearance. And so I am going to add one of those in each one of my clusters. And now I'm going through and just adding some leaf stickers and some little phrase banners down there on the bottom. So it's going to say I love fall and then crisp and cool. And then I go through and take these enamel dots, which came from that same Imaginesque collection. And I'm going to put them in 3 different clusters on my layout. And then I'm going to go back and take them all off and decide that they are just a little bit too shiny and not exactly what I am looking for. So right now I'm taking some of the cork-fetty hearts from the SpiegelMomScraps store, and I am adding one of those cork hearts to each one of my embellishment clusters. And I really like the look of those with fall layouts. So these cork confetti, they're super thin, they're great shapes, and they are perfect for fall layouts. So there, what I'm showing you I'm going to do is go back with some sequins and add some detail to the diagonal stripe paper. Because the rest of the layout has so much going on, that paper felt a little bit flat. So this kind of added that needed detail. And then where I had the enamel dots on my layout originally, I went back and changed those out with sequins, and I like it a lot better. So I really hope you enjoyed this layout, and you will check out what the rest of the team is doing with this sketch this week. And I'll be back next week with another Wacky Wednesday using a different sketch. Bye!